Vanakkam all of you. Today we are going to see about the detection of pathogens in food and water through industry mode part 1. In this video we are going to see about the Salmonella detection. Let's get into this video. So Salmonella are a group of bacteria that cause the gastrointestinal illness and fever called salmonellosis. Salmonella are pathogenic microorganisms. Some of the examples of the organisms are Salmonella typhimurium, Salmonella entitidis, Salmonella typhi. So coming to the Salmonella infection, so Salmonella infection was happened through the contaminated food or drink intake. So first the organism get into our body and colonize in the stomach and lining on the small intestine. After that life cycle starts. Then the rapid multiplication takes place and it was passed into the bloodstream and it spread to the all over the body. If it is not properly treated, it will lead to the death condition. So symptoms includes, it will show up within 12 to 72 hours. So nausea, vomiting, fever and diarrhea, etc. So severe cases are likely to be appear in the infants, elderly people and people with some impaired immune systems. Treatments are available. The oral or injected antibiotics can be used usually for the 2 weeks. So after the cessation of the salmonella infection also, we can take rest for up to 1 month. Okay, next the sources of the infection are raw meat, raw poultry products, raw egg, raw water, unpasteurized dairy products including the milk and unclean fruits and unclean vegetables. And this is the risk pyramid of salmonella infection. And then let's get into the work. Okay, how to detect the salmonella. Okay, we'll see by step process. The first one, primary enrichment media, that is the buffer peptone broth, and secondary enrichment media, tetracyanide broth, RB broth, and selective plating by means of XLD agar or brilliant green agar. XLD is xylylysine deoxycholate agar. And the sample processing, in addition to that buffer peptone water, we have to treat with some other compounds based on the compounds, right? For the fatty products such as meat, dried or processed animal products, coconut and other nuts are used with buffer peptone water. In addition to that, we have to add the Triton X100. For the chocolate and the candy, we have used ultra high temperature skimmed milk. In addition to that, we have to add 0.002% brilliant green. And for the spices and the herbs, we have used the enrichment media of buffer peptone water in the concentration of 50% or 100%. For the milk powder and whey powder, we have to use the distilled water in the combination of 0.002% of brilliant green. For animal feed, we have to use the thiol broth. Why we are using this means because these products contain some of the inhibitory substance. In order to overcome that, we have to add this type of surfactants and other dyes. For the water sample, we have to take the 100 ml of water sample, and after that it was filtered using the 0.045 micrometer filter, and the filtrate was added to the buffer peptone water and it was taken to the further processing. Okay, as earlier said, we have to use the buffer peptone water. We have to take the 225 ml of buffer peptone water and inoculate the 25 gram sample into that and subjected to incubate for 16 to 20 hours at 37 degrees Celsius. So this is called primary enrichment culture. So after 16 to 20 hours, so the primary enrichment culture was taken. 1 ml of primary enrichment culture was taken and it was inoculated into the 9 ml of tetracyanide broth and incubated for 48 hours at 37 degrees Celsius. The same thing, this primary enrichment culture was taken in the concentration of 0.1 ml and it was inoculated into the 9.9 ml of RB broth and it was incubated at 40 hours at 41.5 degrees Celsius. This is called secondary enrichment culture. From the secondary enrichment culture, the loop full of culture was taken and it was streaked on the XLD agar and brilliant green agar. See, in XLD agar, the black color colonies appeared. So it showed the positive result of salmonella. In BGA, the whitish pink colonies will be observed. So it showed the positive results of Salmonella. Whereas in case if there is no colonies were observed on the 24 hours, again we go for that secondary enrichment culture. Okay, we have to take the 1 ml of the primary enrichment culture and add it to the 9 ml of tetrathionate broth and subjected to incubate for 48 hours at 37 degrees Celsius. As the same thing, the 0.1 ml of primary enrichment culture was inoculated into the 9.9 ml of RB broth and incubated for 48 hours at 41.5 degrees Celsius. Then we'll go for the selective plating. Okay, this is called a secondary enrichment culture. So this is go for the selective plating. In the selective plating, the same one, the XLD agar and the brilliant green agar. XLD agar, in that the black color colonies showed the positive results of Salmonella. The white color colonies represents the presence of E. coli. In BGA agar, that is brilliant green agar, the whitish pink colonies represents the growth of Salmonella. And that after that we'll go for the confirmation by means of biochemical characterization. So first one, TSI, triple sugar ion test, and then urea agar base test, and then lysine decarboxylation test. Okay, in the TSI, yellow color on the agar bed indicates the glucose fermentation, and black color is due to the formation of the hydrogen sulfide, and if there is any crack is observed, it is due to the formation of gas from glucose. So see, this is the black color due to the production of the hydrogen sulfide. Okay, in urea agar base, there is a formation of the series, that is pinkish red color. So it showed the positive result for Salmonella. And sorry, we can't able to produce the photos for the lysine decarboxylation test in this video. So next video I'll give that. Okay, and again, if whatever the work, we have to do it in a triplet or doublet. Okay, so in this, the first one is the E. coli culture was streaked in the TSI slant. See, there is no black color was observed. In these two are the Salmonella culture. So in this TSI slants, the black color was observed due to the hydrogen sulfide production, and there is a crack also observed due to the gas production, and yellow color but represents the glucose fermentation. So this is the urea agar base. So all these cultures are Salmonella. And then agglutination, this is mainly for the serotype identifications. Moreover, O and H antigens are identified by means of this agglutination. So in this, the positive control used here was Salmonella pona and negative control was Escherichia coli. So, and final one is API 20E kit. This is mainly used for the identification of Enterobacteriaceae family and non-fastidious and the gram-negative ROTS organisms. So in this, 20 biochemical tests are available in a single kit, and after the analyzing, so we'll go for the database for that find out the organism name. After that, we'll find out the name of the organism with the help of the database. So these are the 20 tests. So through these tests, we can able to find out the beta-D galactopyranosidase, arginine dehydrolase, lysine decarboxylase, ornithine decarboxylase, citrate utilization, H2S production, urease, tryptophan deaminase, indole production, acetoin production, gelatinase, and fermentation and oxidation of this carbohydrate materials, that is glucose, mannose, mannitol, inositol, sorbitol, rhamnose, sucrose, maltose, amygdalin, and arabinose. These are all the tests we can able to perform in a single day. Within 24 hours, we can able to get the results. And this is the kit, uninoculated kit, API 20E kit, and this is the result. Okay, so and that is if there is a color change observed, means it was represented in the positive symbol. If there is no results observed, means it was represented in the negative symbol. Okay, so after the results were observed, so it is our standard number was given, right? We have to input this number into the API web, and after that we will get the results. So before that and all, we have to inoculate the organism, right? So for that we will use the McFarland standard. So 0.5 McFarland standard was prepared, and that density was compared with the organisms. So after that it was inoculated into this kit and the results were observed. Okay, so after observing the results, then we will go with that number, and this number was entered in the API web, and through this database we will get the organism. So it was concluded as the Salmonella. And that, okay, we have to, in order to prevent the infection by means of the Salmonella, have to practice the food safety practice, and including we can give attention to the hygienic practices during the food preparation and the handling of animals. And some of the questions to think. So what is the role of enrichment culture? Why we are using the different forms of primary enrichment culture for the different sample? And think about the mechanism behind the cerise color formation in urea agar based test, and find out the reason for the black color formation in TSI, and how far the API 20 kit is useful in detecting organisms. So just comment the answers in the comment box, and if you have any queries, contact me. This is my mail ID shivasan91@gmail.com, and thank you.